I mean, Gen Z Club wise, I've heard you speak about it quite a bit. Obviously, like I've seen and
Yeah.
been aware of throughout the time. But I'd love if you could kind of break down the evolution of it, let's say up until like end of last year, for example, from when it started until there. Because I know you went through different phases as
Yeah.
well as a business.
Perfect. And I think what I want to do throughout this as well is kind of identify the common pain points because again, my business is about solving problems. Now, firstly, I didn't think of it from a business angle. I was trying to solve a pain point, which was connecting young entrepreneurs and innovators together in a room. There wasn't really many events, or I didn't really know any events that were doing them. So I thought, how can I create an environment where people can come together? And started off with the Starbucks room, then during COVID, did it through the clubhouse, and now it's all of that accountability. So that's the first pain point. Now, with that pain point led to a roadblock. We wasn't really monetizing it. Yes, we done our events, we were charging money for tickets, but as you probably know, venues are expensive.
Yep.
So by the time we pay over our costs and stuff, we would barely break even. So we thought the best way to overcome that is by doing more and more events, which we were doing, but again, still we're making a few £100 profit per month. Then we now had to identify another pain point because, as I mentioned from Naval, if you can provide enough value at scale and solve problems at scale, you can get paid for it. And we realized that what we're doing by getting a lot of Gen Zs into one environment is solving a pain point for corporates because a lot of corporates can't target Gen Z. They don't speak Gen Z's language. A lot of Gen Zs might see a bank and be like, I don't trust you. So we thought, how can we now package this into a way where we can now connect the same about connecting, same thing with connecting Gen Zs to these corporates. And that now became our business model where we provide enough value to the Gen Zs where they come to our events and they join our mailing list and they become a member of the Gen Z club. But then we also package it in a nice way where corporates can now access these Gen Zs. And so the way the Gen Z was able to be monetizable was when we now saw it as, look, we'll come to a company like, look, you guys are trying to recruit Gen Zs through Indeed. You're getting a couple of applications and it's not really working out. If you now put yourself in front of us as a trusted voice of Gen Zs, you now got 500 Gen Zs who come to the event who you can now market yourself in front of. And not only that, the people who are now going to be posting on TikTok, on Instagram, and their friends and their friends' friends. And so now we'll go to banks and different companies and be like, look, this is our offering. But again, before we present our offering, we need to understand their goals first because again, if some people want recruitment, we gotta come from a recruitment angle. Some people just want exposure and brand awareness, we come from that angle. And what we'll now do is package it into an offering. And again, we start undercharge ourselves and charge only like a few £100. But when we realize that, and similar to what Alex Moji says, work with wealthy clients, they pay better. If I'm charging a bank £25,000 and these are making billions and billions a year, what is that to them? So now we was able to now increase our prices and charge these large amounts because these corporates will actually see the value in it. And that's kind of like how Gen Z was able to revolutionize them and become what it is today. We used to do events across the country, but again, we kind of hit a roadblock where it was like, look, we're getting kind of drained from all of these different events. So we said, look, instead of doing 12 events a year, why not do 4 events a year, but do it at a larger scale? That's going to now be more attractive to these companies because instead of having 12 events of 100 people, why not do 4 events with 500 people in each event, 600 people in each event? So again, with business, it's all about problem solving, understanding pain points, understanding their goals and their objectives. And then one thing I would like to say is like, you want to fit your service within their ecosystem. Because if it's a nice to have, they're not going to really spend a lot of money on it. But if it's fitting within their ecosystem of, let's say, recruitment. So for example, we've had companies where they'll try to recruit someone, get 5 sign-ups. We do one email, we get 200 sign-ups. And we've now fit our service in their ecosystem, and now we can command any price because we know that we provide the value that they can't access.